Jack Mitchell, publisher of the Ledger-Dispatch. I am up in Pine Grove. Now you may recall we ran a story a ways back where the Amador County Museum, Railroad Museum, was in a little bit of trouble. They were moving out of Jackson and we're looking for a spot, and sadly, for a long time, I was worried we were not going to find a home for one of the most amazing experiences you will ever have. And believe me, kids, if you haven't seen these model trains, you have missed out. We're in Pine Grove in a new home. Show them around the room real quick. Stand across a wider setup, a larger setup. It's nice and cool up here. It's an amazing thing. The Amador County Model Railroad Museum is open. It's going to be open soon. It's going to be open on Saturday. And I am here. Your name, sir?
Michael Presson.
Michael Presson. Michael, the world, Michael. This is unbelievable. So tell me how this comes about. You guys were down in Jackson, kind of by the National Hotel at one point?
Yeah, we are at the National Hotel, next door to the National Hotel at 1 Main Street in the Antique Mall. Prior to that, we were over at the old schoolhouse in Sutter Creek. We ended up losing the lease agreement on Main Street. Nothing against Stan Lipwitz. He's a great individual, great person to be a part of. Loved being part of that
just didn't work out at the time.
It just didn't work out for us, so we ended up going into storage. Worked out a deal with Stove and Spa, the room that we're in now.
Well, this was the Stove and Spa. So we are up in Pine Grove.
Yes. At the Gold Mine Plaza.
As you come up 88, you eat at the restaurant over at Shell, which if I look heavier, that's why. I had a great lunch on the way up here. Or you go to Giannini's or you go to 88 Bird. There's a ton of places. We'll get into that later. But you come up, you peel off, and you turn in where the
Gold Mine Road.
Gold Mine Road, which is the storage units.
Yes.
Is kind of where you see it, the storage units. So as you're coming up, that is on the left. Mm-hmm. Turn in, you come up, there was a Stove and Spa place here that sadly went away, but not too sad because you have got a brilliant setup. Now the interesting thing for me is when I saw you guys down in Jackson, it was a much tighter setup.
Yes, it was.
This is like walk around. You guys have a lot of room going on.
Well, yes, and when we were down on Main Street, we had to remove 2 of our sections of our layout.
So you had 2 sections that weren't there.
But we had to build 2 custom 2-foot tables to accommodate that space. Now those little 2-foot tables we have, they're in our storage room right now, but the 2 tables we had to take out are back in. One of them's right here behind us, Jack, is this one right here.
So this is
model of the Argonaut Mine.
The Argonaut Mine is back in.
Slowly trying to model it in.
Very cool. And actually the model itself, a lot of this, is all of it based on Amador County?
Yes, it is.
All of it is.
The upper tract of the railroad is rough representation of the local Amador Central Railroad, as it once was during the late 1980s, early 1990s.
Now you don't know that much about the Amador Central Railroad, really, do you?
Actually, I do.
You do? And why is that?
I pride myself as a history major of the Amador Central Railroad, and I also I volunteered for Amador Central Railroad through Georgia Pacific. Our supervisor was Annette Pulte, who you and I talked about.
Yes.
She sadly passed away.
Great lady, sadly passed away.
And then I went on to work with Amador Foothill Railroad, which we ran that for 7 years, which was the same railroad leased by Ampine, part of the division of Sierra Pine, up there in Martel.
All right.
And, I worked with Ampine with Amador Foothill for 7 years, running the Amador Foothill Railroad. I wasn't the head boss there, but I was close enough.
But you acted like you were.
I acted like I was. Yes.
That's what I heard. I don't know if that's true. That's what I heard. So tell me, how long has it been putting the model together? I mean, how long has this been going on?
The layout has been around for going on 45 years now.
45 years.
But not under our operation.
No, different people.
It was starting out as the Amador Central Model Railroad Club, and it started out at the Senior Center in Jackson.
Senior Center in Jackson, okay.
After a few years, the layout got a little bit bigger. They needed a bigger space.
Booted them out.
Well, they didn't boot them out. They just needed a bigger space.
They needed a larger space.
They moved to the Kennedy Mine House, and it was there for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
Well, during that time, the layout grew a little bit more. Well,
So we're getting bigger.
we're getting bigger.
Always
yes.
getting bigger.
Well,
Imagine that.
They need. We can talk about that. We can
Don't
talk
say
about
it.
that
Don't
later.
say it. So you
The
get
layout ended up moving over to the old schoolhouse in
And that's
Sutter
kind of
Creek.
where I came in. The first time I saw it was at Sutter Creek, and it was a great layout, a historic building in Sutter Creek.
The same layout set up there is the layout you see here.
Yes, and this looks much more familiar to me as it was when I first saw it, probably about 16 years ago.
Yes.
And then it moved downtown, and downtown, great spot in Jackson, but it was tighter. In the end, they didn't have quite the room, so we had a tighter layout, and now we're up in Pine Grove. What's the road again?
The road is on the Gold Mine Road.
Gold Mine Road, brilliant name, that's why I forget it. Gold Mine Road, so you come up and you turn up, and you've got this whole setup.
The railroad itself, the layout itself, is not powered by conventional DC model train power packs that you and I have as our kids.
I had an HO scale train for a long time.
But this system runs off a computer control system, which we will show you right now if you'd like to see.
Yeah, let's go take a look. We're gonna go take a look. All right, so now we're on the other side of the room. It was a long travel over here. Big space, a huge thing. And you, sir, are?
Nick Ragusano. I'm president currently of the Amador County Model Railroad Museum.
Current president, Nick, the world. Yeah.
Welcome to our little museum.
It's not so little, this is amazing. So you guys have a lot more space. We've
But you
got
have to understand, you see, we're talking about the world in miniature.
the world, that is correct, you're right, the world in miniature. And so we were just talking about the computer system. Tell me a little bit about how this is different. So I had an HO scale train when I was a kid.
Me too.
Remember the little switch thing you turn and you...
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a little different.
It's down over here. If you look down over here, you see all those little lights blinking, some of them blinking. You see the blue light. All of that is the control center for all of this. And they're run by little things that we call, these little packs. These things here are the controllers. And so all of that is operated by these controllers. Some of them are big, some are small. And what
But you
we
like
do-
holding the big one, right?
Right. Yeah. Well, this is one of the main ones.
That's the main one. Cool.
And what we do is that after we turn this equipment on, we command the system to power all the tracks.
Different tracks.
So what this does, these two are actually our power supplies.
Power supply in the middle there.
And then these are actually the miniature computers.
Miniature computers, and they run, how many tracks do you run up here?
We run, of course, upper, lower,
Upper, lower.
and then this what we call the peninsula.
All right.
And it takes all of these work in conjunction.
So you've got, what, 4 little mini computers running them.
Correct. But they're all interconnected. And the reason why I say they're interconnected, we can run a train from one section to another without stopping, and
Because of the computerization.
you're right. And so it all works together. The signal goes back and forth. So in these, we actually put in the number of the engine. So if you can get a close-up of the engine over here, one of the engines, you see the number that's sitting on the side?
So that's number 8125 on the engine.
Right. If we wanted to run that engine, we would program 8125 in here.
And it knows.
And now it knows that engine, and it will only power that engine. And other engines can run.
How'd you come up with it? I mean, where'd you guys figure this out?
We didn't. This is a company.
I don't,
Jack, I don't think we're that
No,
smart.
this is amazing.
We're working off of other people's ideas, but this
That's
is a
the best
company.
way to do it.
Yeah, this is a company called Digitrax, and that's what we use.
Digitrax. Very cool.
And they've designed it so that it works this way. And most modern HO systems are actually using this Digitrax or some variation of maybe another company.
So it's not like my old one where you
No,
totally different.
right.
So how long have you been the president of the Amador County Railroad?
Since November.
Since November. Well, you seem thrilled about that.
His fault.
Did you see the look on that face? You've got to be. This is really though. This has got to be. What a great move for the club.
What museum?
The museum. I'm sorry. Museum. What a great move for the museum. You're up in Pine Grove. This really is a tourist spot.
It is. We're going to push on that, and We are.
And you're going to find someone. I have a feeling they may find someone they know in the media to help promote.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We are a 501c3.
Oh, very cool.
So, as a nonprofit, any donations come. We
Tax deductible donation.
That makes it nice.
What are your hours up here going to be? Have you guys set those yet? Or
We haven't really set those yet. We're probably going to be
we'll figure it out.
something to 5 o'clock.
You
10
have-
to 5.
We don't give everything away. You have to stay tuned
That's
for
right.
that. But you will
and
be
we
open
don't
this
know-
Saturday.
Yeah, we'll start this Saturday.
How
10
many-
to 5.
Have you heard a lot of people? Do they know you're up here yet? Or?
Not yet. We're starting to
Too
get
bad we
the
don't.
word out.
It's too bad we don't know anyone that could get the word out. You know, someone loud.
Hi, Jack.
So here's the deal. If you haven't seen the Amador County Model Railroad Museum, see, I can get it right. I can be trained. Museum. You need to come up to Pine Grove, and the beautiful thing is, it's a little cooler up here. This room feels great right now. It's cool. You come in and see it. If you haven't seen this, I guarantee you will become a huge fan the minute you walk in the door.
One of the things we want to do is make sure our local schools know we're here.
Of course.
Because
Yeah.
the history that they work with, some of the history is supposed to be local.
Well, and the fun part here is, so you've got 45, I mean, this has its own history itself in just building the miniature world.
Right.
But the beauty of it is it's all loosely based or based off of Amador County.
In fact-
You're building pieces.
You've got to see this. Recognize this building?
That looks like an Ione.
Right.
That's the
the old
Ione.
Ione?
That's the old Ione. That sits right now in front of Ione Junior
Ione Junior
High.
High School.
Ione
And
Junior High School.
We are going to, what used to be Ione High School.
Correct.
And we are going to create a model or diorama sort of thing
Right.
to put here so that it could be seen as the school behind it.
That's
or
amazing.
down here someplace.
That's-
Haven't decided exactly how, but it's going to get.
We always figure it out later.
Well, you see, we come up with the ideas, and when we start talking about scenery, we move to the next person,
That's perfect.
and that's Anthony.
Anthony is the scenery. We are going to say goodbye to Nick for a second. Say goodbye, Nick.
Goodbye, Nick. Goodbye. Oh,
There you go.
right.
We're going to go see Anthony. All right, so I'm with Anthony. Is it Anthony?
Yeah.
And your last name, sir?
Vasquez.
Anthony Vasquez. Anthony, I have been told by a reliable source that you are the ultimate of scenery,
Yes.
of miniature scenery for the museum. Tell me a little bit about what your vision is and what you're doing up here.
My vision is to more bring out what was like the actual life of the actual
The scene, the
scene,
real
the
scene,
the real scene. Yeah.
the actual scene. Very cool. How long have you been involved with the museum?
I've been here since February 2018.
February 2018. What's your favorite part of the track?
My favorite part of is being in the community and being a part of something that was history.
Very cool. Very cool. Show me some pieces. Tell me about scenery and working on the.
So with scenery, I have right here. I had to blend it with two different types of colors. There's little shakers you get, and it was originally just too yellow and stuff like that to
So
not.
you actually paint, set up,
Paint,
build,
set up.
sculpt.
Yes.
How'd you get involved in that? Is this something you've always been interested in, or?
I've always liked taking photos and everything, and I've always had a creativity to draw out what I would do. And then I would sculpt or build.
So you actually draw what you do and then
Yeah.
basically sculpt from there?
Yes.
That's incredible. What a gift. What a gift. So, what do you think of the new layout and the new place?
The new place is excellent. You have you can walk around the whole entire thing.
We may have you do that with me later.
All
We
right.
will walk around the whole thing. How many pieces have you done a lot of these, or is it interesting coming in? I mean, so you've got 45 years set up. Obviously,
Yeah.
you're not 45 years old, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So someone started it before. Do you take off where they went, and then?
Yes. Someone originally was the scenery director here, so As of November, when they're casting for the new board and everything, I took the scenery director's place.
So you're the scenery director for the entire museum.
Yes.
What's that? What are the hours involved? You spend. It's got to take a lot of time.
Yeah, it's a lot of time. Yesterday I was here from around 10 to like 5.
Wow. Wow. What a gift. We're going to have Anthony walk around. We're going to show you some of the little bits of scenery, and you'll see little photos interjected with some of the amazing pieces. You got to get up here. It's truly uniquely Amador. Can't say it enough. This spot is cool. All right, I am here with
Bob Piety.
Bob Piety. Bob, the world.
Hello.
The world, Bob.
I'm the secretary of the Amador County Model Railroad Museum, and what we try to do here, we can have operations here that are open-ended. You can run anything you want, or we also go very what we call prototypical, where we'll run specifically the Amador Central, and we'll also operate the Southern Pacific activity down to Lodi and Gulf. So we have lots of different activities.
So if you're a train enthusiast and you had it's HO scale,
Right.
and you came up, you'd actually let them run.
Yes, we have days where we run fun trains here. It could be,
Oh, that's cool.
it could be a Disney train. It could be, we have a Western train that we use once in a while. It's not even HO scale, but it runs on HO scale
Track. Okay.
On the other hand, we try to make things look very realistic. For example, I can show you a refinery that we have.
Yeah. Let's see it. She'll keep rolling.
There was a refinery in Ione.
A refinery in Ione.
Right. It was a chemical plant. And so this is our depiction of that. You've already seen, I think, earlier the Ione Station.
Yeah, Ione Station I recognize because obviously it's the building sitting in front of what's now the junior high. It used to be the high school.
Right.
Where was this located?
This was located it was a little bit upgrade from the original station location.
Okay. All right.
And the Southern Pacific would bring cars up and they would load them there. It didn't go on the Amador Central, it just stayed on the Southern Pacific. And that's where they kept that line open for quite a long
Okay.
time. Obviously, they also picked up lumber from the Amador Central, which I will take you over to our lumber mill.
The lumber mill.
The primary reason for the Amador Central really was to haul lumber from the mill in Martel down to Ione, where then it was connected with the Southern Pacific, and that lumber went all over the world. It built San Francisco, it built Los Angeles, Arizona.
Built and rebuilt.
Right. Now, right now we don't have any rolling stock on the layout because we're just getting started. But you'll see lumber cars here. There'll be box cars, flat cars. There'll be trucks here bringing in lumber, just like they did originally.
Well, and the interesting thing is it's all based off Amador history and different pieces. That I mean, this is actually what happened. I mean,
Right.
this is it.
And right next to this lumber mill, this will become 49.
Highway
Meeks-
49?
Yeah, Meeks Lumber today is here.
Yeah.
Where this lumber mill is today is the big shopping center with Staples and Safeway and everybody else.
So that's where the lumber mill was where
Right.
Safeway and all of that. That's
Right.
amazing.
And
Very
then
cool.
just a little bit further east was where the Amador Central had its engine house. There's still some remaining buildings there. If you want to walk through the weeds, you'll find it. All right. And then just a little further, there was a quarry. And I think this quarry today, I believe this is where PG&E may have its facility on the other side of the street. But there was and this was the other major cargo that the Amador
Right.
Central. But primarily it was for lumber. And
Lumber kind of ruled the roost.
It's true.
Yeah.
And we have photographs. In fact, our president is behind you. He has a photograph that we're trying to use to replicate the lumberyard.
So is this what you guys use photos from different time frames to recreate? Oh, that's cool.
We get photographs of different eras. We can run steam era on the layout. We can run the early diesel. We can run current.
So you can you run on different days, you run different, so you have a steam era.
We can do that. Sometimes we'll run steam and diesel together, but it depends on what the group wants to do.
The cool thing is all of them are fun, regardless of what
yeah.
era it is. It's unbelievable.
And if we run steam engines, they all have sound, and it's really great to hear the chug, chug, chug. You know, with this new technology, that was DCC technology, we have great sounds, lighting, sound, whistles, you name it. Not something that we had maybe 15 years ago.
When you get the feel for it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it definitely takes you right into different eras, different times, but all Amador County history.
Right. And when families come in here, because we have access to, on the outside for our throttles, we sometimes hand the throttle to a child,
Let them run.
let them run a train, blow the whistles. You know, they just have a blast.
Oh, that's
So we're trying to keep this hobby going. We want younger people involved. Anthony's one of our junior members. We have a number of them. But we really want to push this area to bring more people into our museum. And we love to have new members. They can be
Well, it is one of those things
adults or
when you
juniors.
see them come in, whether it be an adult, you're immediately drawn to just the beauty of the track, the history of the track, the history of the museum itself, but also the history of the area that all comes to life,
And that's-
all in a unique way.
And that's part of it. We want, children today don't necessarily know that there's a major sawmill up on March Hill. They know that Safeways there is
Right.
and Lowe's. So we're trying to educate people not just on the lumber, but also the mining in the area, and then how the railroads interface with it. That's really
Very cool. Very fun. Very nice to meet you. Thank you.
I want to let you see and give you an application.
An application. Now, where would I get an application if I wasn't getting one here from you? Are these
From
on?
us.
You get them up here?
Yes.
So you gotta
that's-
come up.
That's your application.
This is my application. Well, they filled it in for me. Come up and get an application, people. We'll get this online for you so you can sign up, but make sure you get an application. Come up and see the museum. You guys won't believe this. You're like a kid in here. It's fun. A lot of fun. All right. For the Amador County Model Railroad Museum, up in Pine Grove, new home, huge layout. You've got to get up here and see this. Thank you, gentlemen. I've got my application. Hopefully they don't make me president. Come up and see it. Have a good time, and you've got to see it to believe it. Unique the Amador. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you. See you later. We'll wave. We'll put in the choo-choo sound behind.